On the table today at Squirrel Stampede, John Hammond is back collecting dinosaurs for his collection of finer dinosaurs. We've got the Concavenator, we've got the Ankylosaurus, we've got the Geosternbergia, I can't say that one. Several new highly detailed dinosaurs to join Hammond's fine collection. Great looking assortment, we're gonna go through them, and a few others from the past that I have missed. They have been really fun and detailed, so let's get to these and learn some more about the Hammond collection.
Squirrel Stampede!
Well, this Concavenator is probably the most interesting of this new Hammond collection wave. Well, maybe the Alan Grant too, but I can't even find that one. It's too expensive. But I do want to backtrack just a little bit. For some reason, we never opened Ellie Sattler. Dr. Ellie, with extremely dirty hands. Over on the back, Dr. Sattler, after encountering a sick Triceratops on the Jurassic Park tour, Dr. Ellie Sattler takes a tenacious approach and digs deep to determine what is ailing this distressed dinosaur. Direct from the book, too. So let's see how deep we can dig into this box. And so Ellie out of box, along with a very ancient leaf, and some extremely dirty hands. Her appearances as a figure are certainly softer than what they were from before. Here she comes from, I can't even remember where I picked up this Ellie now, and wow, her face was really quite smudged. So this one here feels a little more Laura Dern, this one feels a little more, I don't know, your neighbor who just kind of yelled at you for moving your fence closer to your fence line or something like that. So this is definitely an improvement and a little bit better articulation in there somewhere. And here she is with the extremely dirty hands switch out. Those are gloves though, thankfully. She did place on gloves to dig through the dino excrement to find what was ailing the poor trike. So now we have a helpful Ellie here with these very stinky hands. Is it time for the Concavenator yet? No.
What?
One more catch-up, the Dilophosaurus. Somehow I missed the Dilophosaurus too, so it's great to kind of catch up with the Dilophosaurus over on the back. At first appearing unassuming and curious with the cutest sounds, the Dilophosaurus is severely misjudged by Dennis Nedry and ends up derailing his nefarious plot to escape after showing little interest in playing fetch. I'm a bit frustrated how hard it is to always get a Nedry figure. I think only released before in a giant pack with some stuff I didn't need. I missed him on the large-scale Amber figure collection. I always miss Nedry figures, so distracting. But we did find his friend the Dilophosaurus opening up. And out of box. Slide this over so you can see it better. Standing a little bit awkward right now. Let's fix things up. This frill can be moved a little bit. It's just a little C frill around her neck. And then let's get this tail installed. Interesting tail piece. How does it go? We want the black to match down her spine. So we'll jam that in. Now we should have much better balance. This is certainly one of the best Dilophosauruses I've ever seen. This one is fantastic. They spared no expense in detail around that frill. It is so overly painted. It looks awesome. I see reds and yellows and blacks and greens. Just an explosion of terror. She's standing well with several points of articulation, and we'll go through those in just a second. Good paint work overall, a nice dark deep green, and again some muddy gray black over her back. So it might be just a little easier to work with articulation by removing her frill, and obviously she would just tuck that in. And we've got a secondary frill to place down if you want to show her unfrilled. What do we have though for articulation? Neck, well let's start at the jaw. Jaw opens and closes, neck up top, neck down below with hinge, pin hinges on her shoulders, elbows, her hips rotate. I'm having a little trouble, one of her hips won't rotate out. This one pushes out, this one does not. So I don't know if it's supposed to. I don't think it does. I think it's just supposed to be flat, which is sad. I wish they both moved out. Then we got knees and ankles on her. So plenty of points to really have some fun and scariness with her. She doesn't shoot anything, unfortunately. I know past Dilophosauruses would have something you could just like stick and jam into their mouth and shoot out. I think that's left over from Megatron from a week ago or so. She ate some spicy salsa at the Jurassic World cafeteria. But she's certainly one to catch back up with. I don't think I'll leave that frill on there. I think you gotta leave this one on. That's total Dilophosaurus. Oops, a little low. There we go. That looks about right. So, excellent Hammond collection to catch up on. And now I think we can finally get to that Concavenator. Interesting choices of what they have pulled for the Hammond Collection over the last couple years. The Concavenator is one of my favorites in figure form. It just looks great. The color scheme, the hump on its back. It's a very menacing theropod. Over on the back, Concavenator. Recognizable due to a distinctly shaped spine, the Concavenator is on display and encased in history as Claire visits the Lockwood estate. Ah, okay, that's where it is. I can never find it. Well, let's get Cavi out. How many times is Dr. Sattler gonna fall down?
Well, she is female, and females tend to get a little more afraid than the stronger male.
What was that, John? Hey-ya!
So always some assembly required with Hammond and maybe even some ankle surgery. Let's do a quick tail install, making sure this extra concave is up. There we go. And standing better on that ankle, which is a little bit funny right now. Good articulation so far with this one. As always, the value of the Hammond Collection, less gimmick and more flimmick. Highly detailed Concavenator figure with nothing, no explosive sounds or strike effects. Just simple high detail and good articulation. Nice paintwork too with this one. A deep gray midnight blue with some ketchup touch-up striping down the face, neck, and back, and a deep rusty red tail on the back. She's really quite pretty. Probably right now, one of my most favorite Hammond Collection dinosaurs, for sure. I think the only difference that would have made this dinosaur really pop is if they had added those realistic eyes that we had saw with the T-Rex. Remember those glassy, realistic eyes with the T-Rex? You could see right through them like amber. Now I know with the T-Rex a little bit larger, so easier to pull off than it would have been with the Concavenator, but it sure would have been fun to see some better eye detail with this one. But really, overall, absolutely impressive. Articulation, opening and closing mouth. I believe both the top head here can reach open a little bit for a wider growl, snapping back down both jaws, head. Then I think there's a point here at the neck, upper neck, for rotation and pivoting, and same thing with the lower neck, rotation and pivoting, and shoulders at pins to rotate, pivot, elbows that rotate and move, and wrists are also, these hands are just terrific, by the way. I got caught by the greatness of these hands. And then hips that rotate. Oh, this is a little sticky. Usually they rotate out, and they should rotate from side to side. There we go, a little sticky out of the pack. Same thing with that one. And knees and ankles and elbows, or whatever you would call it on a theropod. There's plenty of points here, like 1, 2, 3, 4 in those legs. So there's so many positioning, and maybe even we can pretend to move this hump.
No.
Not really, it's stuck. But definitely, this is one of my most favorites. And I believe if you're careful, Hammond himself can ride the Concavenator. Look at there. It's almost like an installed saddle with this one. And then they can go about, oops, there he goes. They can go about policing Jurassic Park. Oh, look at there. The Concavenator has put up its arms to help Hammond in seated positions. So that works pretty well. What a great dinosaur, everybody. Okay, next new Dinosaur Hammond Collection, Jurassic Park 30th Anniversary. It's the Geosternbergia. The Hammond Collection Jurassic Park 30th Anniversary Ankylosaurus. Yeah, the Ankylosaurus. I'm not sure why, maybe because we've opened other Ankylosauruses here, but I feel like we've already opened a Hammond Collection Ankylosaurus, but apparently not, because I think this is pretty new. Ankylosaurus with an unmistakable armored exterior. The Ankylosaurus is one of the many awe-inspiring dinosaurs that Dr. Alan Grant sees by the riverbank on Isla Sorna, Jurassic Park 3. There's so many Jurassic Parks flying around, it's hard to go which one from where now. And opening up, it's certainly a tank out of the pack. I can tell this one's beef. Taking a slight nap, are we, Ankylo? Okay, lift up these legs and these back legs. Wow, way taller than I would imagine. I'd had her hunched down a little bit more. And install this tailpiece. Rotate how you will, and we've got her constructed, much higher above the ground than I would have first imagined, but probably about right actually when looking at her all around high detail with these. I love, oh, what's the word on these? I just learned the word on these watching Dino Hunters on Discovery Plus. If you haven't watched that show, it's a great show, a couple years old now. Hopefully they'll get a season 3 one of these days. But the back spines, osteoderms says Google, or scoots. Scoots, I think, is what they call them on the show, these little spines on the back, and you can actually find these pretty easily, or at least they have on the show over in states like Wyoming, Montana, I think it was western states. You can actually find these scoots just above the ground there, still active around town. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I mean, how many does this ankylo have there? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 times 4. There's 36 scoots possibilities. So with this giant shell on her back, how about articulation? Where do we start? We always usually go towards the head there. I see 2 neck points though. So we've got head rotation right at the back of the skull and at the base of the spiny scooty body. And it's hinged, so you can hinge about her head from back and forth and maybe up and down a little bit. Yeah, all sorts of great movement. Opening and closing mouth, which was a shame. The trike didn't have one, but this one does, and it is a very small mouth, so you can place one in there. Then for the front upper shoulders, we can rotate. They move out just slightly. Elbows and wrists, and same thing, hips. They rotate out slightly. Knees and ankles. Plus, then we've got this tail. This is the worst thing to get hit by. Stop it, Ankylo. Several parts here. 1, 2, 3, 4? There's 4, wow. So yeah, one at the base, another one here, another one here, and another one there. So 4 positions that you can really move this tail about, and it's holding well. So you can pick your favorite display part, or just whack a squirrel. Oh, I'm so sorry. Don't whack a chipmunk squirrel. Oops, it's laying down again. This one is a terrific one. A little bit muddy in color. A tan underbelly with a very sage top. But the way these scoops emerge from its back, a little bit of reddish detail by the eye, pretty well done overall. Hammond Collection worthy.
Plus, she gets the kinks out of my old man back.
How's that, Hammond?
Come along, I'll show you.
What is this old dude talking about?
Now you see, to correct moderate back pain, simply lie one's back on the top of the Ankylosaurus and rest backwards. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that hits the spot. Oh.
Does anyone want to assist Hammond? Hammond, are you okay down there? Well, let's just move on to that other Hammond Collection dinosaur. Oh wait, I almost forgot about the Pachycephalosaurus. Must be a youthful one. It's very small. In the smaller scale Jurassic Park 30th anniversary boxes, Pachycephalosaurus. With a name that may be difficult to pronounce, the Pachycephalosaurus faces InGen head-on with a skull that's 9 inches of solid bone. So was this the one from Fallen Kingdom in the basement, or Jurassic Park 2? Yeah, Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World, it says on box, where it is slamming and ramming into people's Jeeps. Let's remove from pack. Oh, hang on there. Let's get this pinned back in there. You're okay, you're okay. And a tail piece. And okay, there's our very cute Packy out of pack. Very close in what we just saw with Dilophosaurus in scale, maybe just a little more meaty, a little more sagey green with a more green backing color. A nice bone skull up top there. I do like how the Hammond Collection has given us a few different scales of dinosaur. Opening and closing mouth, again, very small. That trike should have totally had an opening and closing mouth. Pin hinges at the shoulders, elbows, nothing at the wrists. Then hips there that move in and out, and knees and ankles and a tail. So plenty of quick points of articulation for small scale dino. The best detail is all in that bone crested head. I just like giving it a bonk every once in a while. Very realistic on that head. Probably one of the best smaller scale packies I've seen from the many dinosaurs we've seen from Jurassic Park over the years. Mattel. And good price point too with the smaller scale dinos. A little easier to obtain and find even. Sometimes the larger ones fly off shelves so quickly. And for our final And this probably isn't even a dinosaur. What do you call them, Flylesaurs? It's a Geosternbergia.
What?
I'm having trouble with this one. Geosternbergia, Geosternbergia. This has like 100 different ways of saying it. I'm just gonna call it Burger for short. Jurassic Park 30th anniversary, seen Jurassic Park Lost World. I was going to guess Jurassic Park 3. While the Pteranodon may rule the skies of Isla Sorna, the Geoburger makes a memorable pre-production appearance and displays an impressive wingspan with a longer neck, beak, and head crest. Okay, I think it's coming back to me now. I think I've seen this one. I just lumped it into the Flyezord category. Let's get out of pack. We don't see Flyezords very much. Now this one, sadly missing a display stand. 5 points reducted from Slytherin. Maybe we can move its front legs forward somehow. I don't even know how Flyezords move their feet. How would they do that? I guess it's like chickens. So move their feet back, their knees back, like that maybe. And then I was going to use the point of its beak as maybe a point, but I guess we'll just lay down these wings like so. This is difficult. Totally needs a display stand. Okay, we'll go with that. Now it just looks dead. Now the original Amber collection would have display stands. I have a whole bunch of great velociraptors with display stands. This one certainly needs one. I'll just try to forget talking about that for a moment and look at the burger bird. Great beak, opening and closing. Look at that. You can almost fit a T-Rex chipmunk in its mouth. And neck rotation below the neck there. Some hinge movement. There we go. And same thing at the lower neck. Hinge movement and rotation. Flappy wings, of course, at the shoulder points. And they're going to go way up high because these are huge wings. We'll check the wingspan in a minute here. Rotation, no, the wings are actually embedded into the body. They are pieced or squished in there, so you're not going to be able to rotate these wings very much. I certainly like the rubbery feel, though. That's a plus. 5 points added to Slytherin. And then we've got hips, ankles, or knees and ankles there, and the legs, but they're a little bit awkward. In how they work. Oh, maybe I got it backwards. There we go. Let's try that. Okay, that's a little less awkward. And nothing for the tail of this species. No long tail control there. Oh, and the little wrists rotate too. Great color. Great color. I'll give 5 more points to Slytherin for color. But I definitely took off 5 points for no display stand. And as for that wingspan, can you go flat for a second for me? We've got 15-inch wingspan, so that's pretty impressive there. Overall, since we don't see Flyezords very often, the Geosternbergia is a great addition to the Hammond Collection. And that's the Hammond Collection for today. A few more things out there. I'm still searching for that Amazon exclusive Grant and Velociraptor. That would be fun to see if I can get it for a good price point. I really don't want to pay over $50. That's a little bit ridiculous, but that's out there. And a few more Jurassic Park 30th anniversary things we will accumulate and show some more. Lots of great dinosaurs coming out this summer, so it's going to be fun to explore and learn about continuingly. If you liked today's video, please give us a squeak, squirrelibe, a squammet about anything you would like. Thank you so much for watching. That's what I have to say about that.